Ray, one of the last things I'd like to ask you, and if you'd leave with us, is this. In the movement, so much of what we talk about is self-care and focusing on what's coming in the week ahead. I'm curious, what does self-care look like for Ray Lewis? And what are you focused on this coming week, on this Sunday, that you might be able to impart to other people as they plan their weeks?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I write down everything. And so this week for me, it's a big week since I'm coming back off of vacation with my daughters. And so it's a big week, but it's a big week because while we were on vacation, I wrote a lot of things down that I wanted to see different, right? Because, you know, when you take vacation, you see things differently. It's like, what am I doing? And I wanted to figure out, how do I become more effective personally in my businesses? And what that means is personal engagement. One of them being, I can't believe I'm disclosing this, but one of them being like how to, just do more, right, on social media, do more. And, I'm an in-person person, and I try to do more, but I'm just such a, person who loves, they like, no, my teams are really on me. And they're like, we're building your whole week out. So business-wise, I'm being challenged by my team to get busy, buddy. And then personally, spiritually, I am starting another book, I think. So I read 3 a day plus the Bible, and I'm starting another one. I don't read through 3 a day. I just take 1 or 2 chapters, if that, out of some of them. And I love reading like that. You learn a lot that way. But I'm just challenging myself to go back. I had this one book that you had to write everything down, right? And every prayer. But you know how you get once you start traveling, and if that book ain't accessible, you're like, God darn it, I forgot my book, right? But the book says, look, stop worrying about the date, right? Just keep coming back, And so I'm back on that. Got to stay focused on that. Write my spiritual affirmations and my things that I do in the mornings. And then physically, I am challenging myself on the bike to, I think it was ride 350 miles this week before Saturday. So I am challenged, mind, body, and spirit. But I write all these things down. And I think anybody who's listening, you have to have a game plan, right? It's like going into a Sunday for us, football. You had to know everything. And in life, you got to know everything. You have to research things that you never thought you would research, right? You have to read things you never thought you would read. You have to go outside of your comfort zone. And so this week it's a great week for me to disturb my comfort zone coming off of vacation. Yeah.
What do you want? I often think about this because I journal too. And Bob Goff, I think, said it best. He's another author, Love does. And he said, we always think that we're going to remember our happy, remember the sunset, remember that kiss, remember that. I was in a mom and pop restaurant on Sunday right after church. And after this weekend with my fiance, and I saw all these old couples coming from their Sunday best, and, and there's this, playlist of love music, country music playing over the I'm like, man, if this is not more iconic. But Ray, if I got 6 weeks out, I forget that goodness. If I don't write it down. Who do you want to read your writings? The stuff that you're writing down every day, you want your kids to read it? What do you want to happen?
Yeah, one day when I am gone, my kids will find my books and they will be like, I did not know Daddy was writing and prophesizing really things into my life. And I learned that a long time ago, Rachel. Like, one of the passages that I fell in love with is write the vision, make it plain, So I started writing the vision, making it plain. I used to stutter really bad. I had a bad stuttering problem growing up, and I had to become a good listener, and I had to become a better writer because I could write better than I could talk back then, right? So I started writing my visions. I mean, in the 9th grade, honest to God, I wrote on a piece of paper every day. I started signing my autograph every day. And this teacher in the 9th grade was like, why are you signing your autograph? Because I was like, one day it's going to become famous, right? She was like, well, we'll see how far that goes, right? But I write them down because my mother's a pastor. So my mother, if you ever saw my mother books, I get it from my mom.
Okay.
Like my mom writes down everything. I mean, we're at the dinner table. Oh, I got to write that down. Oh, I got to get the camera. I'm like, Mama, if you don't put that book down and put that phone down at dinner, we are finna have dinner and we ain't going through that right now. She always says, you're going to remember this. You're going to remember this. You're going to say that. But she's right. She's right. Like you have to capture your goodness. You have to write your goodness down. And a lot of it, even though it's captured in video and stuff, when you write it, when it's your handwriting, there's only one person that's accountable for that. And that's you, right? Yeah. I wrote something years ago. And it was about my mom. And I entitled it, The Essence of a Woman. Mm. And it was something that you can't grasp. You can only wonder one day, what does it feel like to see how much a mother really loves you? Mm. Right? And I wrote, man, and I just went so poetically all the way through it. And she used it as her forward for her book. And it forever changed my life, like how I started writing. So I'm a big poetry writer. I write poetry a lot. So I write a lot. It's not that I'm just starting something. So my challenge would be to people is don't write it just to write it. Write it so that one day when somebody else reads it, like they actually learn something from it. And so I write a lot like that.
Ray, I think that's awesome because I've said in my journals, I've said, this is for you, whoever finds this, please read it. And I do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I've said too, I've said when I pass on, right? Because we're only here for this. When I pass on, I go to be with my maker. And when you celebrate me, I want everybody to get up all day and just tell stories about me and smile and dance and know that, know where I am. And I've thought about this a lot with Kobe Bryant passing and losing my mom a year ago in May. I've thought about my own mortality. And I've thought about what would happen to my movement and how would I be remembered? I've thought about that for a really long time. And so much so that I want to start a speaker school. And I'm actually starting a speaker school with the Big 12. And any athlete, anybody who's interested in learning the art of public speaking and that wants to blend their story with I'm changing the narrative, man, we want to dispatch them out all over the country. Reach one, teach one, right? I'm curious, last question, what your kids or what people will learn about Ray Lewis when you go to be with your maker that might surprise them.
I think I'm probably the silliest and goofiest person that you'll ever meet in your life. I just love laughter. Because I have a very unique laugh that when I laugh hard, I'm in tears, and I can't stop it. And so I think people around me, they always say, man, if people knew you outside of who you were, it will just be amazing. And then I think one of the impactful things that anybody that's been around me for 20, 25 years will know that I don't need a camera around me to bless people. You know, I bless people. I blessed this guy the other day. My daughters was watching. He walked up to me with this hat, right? He was like, amigo, let me sell you this sombrero. And I'm like, all right, man. I'm like, how much? He was like, 25. I said, man, I ain't got no $25, man. I said, you can't do this to me. You can't do 25. I said, look, all I got is 20. He said, no, 20. I said, man, you got to give me for 15. You got to give me for, he said, no, brother, I can't go that low. I said, you got to give me for 15. He said, 15, brother, 15. I said, lowest I go. I was like, all right. My daughter was recording the whole time. And then I know his situation, right? I know he didn't have a lot, right? I know how much money goes over there. And my daughter turned the camera off. Right when she turned the camera off, I had just grabbed a $100 bill and I gave him a $100 bill, right? And that story has been in my life of just blessing people, because I wanted to be, I tried to really imitate Jesus and how he just blessed people. And one guy I gave $100 to, honestly, he was a homeless man on the streets of Baltimore. He was under a bridge, and I pulled up and I saw him, and I rolled my window down, and he burst out crying. And he was like, "This is not my hero. No way, no way. My hero just stopped and rolled the window down." And he looked at me and he was like, I do anything. I give up everything just to meet you, whatever. I gave him $100 and I said, "Promise me you won't use this on drugs. Promise me that." Rachel, this same guy with that $100, this is not exaggeration. He's now married. He has his own apartment. And he now has his own business of that $100 bill. And those stories, man, is what I sit here looking at the ocean the way I am now. And I'm like, I told the Lord last night and today, I was like, "Lord, just thank you. I'm just so grateful for what you did with who I am." You know, like every day, like I have ability to give people hope. And we need, so many people are looking for it. And I knew I was when I was younger. And so now I think that's the one thing that people would talk about the most, is you just never know how much good that dude did. That dude was always blessing somebody. You know, one of a good challenge for people who really want to go to the next level in their life. I'm gonna give you something to think about. Like, when you really want to go to the next level in your life, write a 1, 3, and 5-year plan. Write it out. But before you do that, I want you to write your obituary. You got to write your own obituary about what you think people will say about you. And when you start from there, then you can put your life in order, right? And I've done that a while ago, man, where I wrote my obituary. And I think people would love to share how silly I was, how I always wanted to make people feel good, how I always wanted to help out anybody, how I always broke the rules when they said, "Don't give it to them," and I gave it to them. So that's who I am. That's who I am. And so it's amazing to endure the things that I endured and be on the other side of it and have no bitterness in my heart. You know, like, all the love I have now is just to give away and just do what we're doing, right? Build things to bless our world. Yeah, that's why I'm excited to be partners with you. It's really cool.
I'm stoked.
Yeah,
And
you're a superwoman. You're a superwoman, man. Like, you remind me of my mom. You remind me of my mom. So I'm telling you, that's why I told you. What I told you the first day, I was like, "We're gonna work together. We're gonna figure this out." Yeah.
You said, in a boardroom full of people, man, I had like the warrior spirit all over me. We're in a boardroom full of people, and these people are there for you. And I'm in a separate meeting, and you said, "Hey, come join my meeting." And I just had the guts enough. I had more than guts. I had, the guts of Jesus, right? To say, "Ray, can I play you this video?" Yeah. And it had just come out, and it was about my movement. And you were like, "Wow." Right. And I'll never forget, you said, "Man, I've been looking for somebody like you. Somebody get out there and run beside me." I was like, "Woo!"
That's it. And so I'm excited, babe. Like, changing the narrative. It's my life. Yes. It's my life. Like,
it is.
It's a staple of my heart. I'm always, our job is to change the narrative. So I applaud you, sister. I appreciate you. Thank you for being bold enough to change the narrative. And hopefully this bless many people. And we'll be doing this a lot more. I'll be talking to you in a little while. All right?
He's Ray Lewis. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, baby.